Chapter 2891. World Shock in the huge volcanic space in the deepest part of Fire Cloud Castle. Bai Yang stood there respectfully. In front of him, Mo Dao was attentively looking at a mirror image. This mirror image was the scene where Jian Wushuang fought with the three immortal saints. It was clear from the beginning to the end. Ha ha, awesome, awesome. After Mo Dao finished watching the scene, he laughed out loud. A divine master killed two of the three immortal saints and scared one away. This Jian Yi is amazing. Mo Dao's eyes were shining. He was also an immortal saint, but his battle strength was equal to Realm Lord Qian Chu. However, Jian Wushuang had killed Realm Lord Qian Chu with one strike at the later stage of the mirror image. He was shocked by his strength. If Jian Wushuang was so powerful, how could Bai Yang be so powerful? Bai Yang also saw the mirror image and was terrified. Now he finally understood why Jian Wushuang could address his master as Brother Mo. Jian Yi is very talented and has unfathomable strength and means. The magic sword is not lost in his hands. Mo Dao smiled and immediately sent a message to Jian Wushuang to congratulate him on his Golden Crow 9 world fame. Jian Wushuang also quickly replied. Crimson Rock Castle, Pill Sun Sacred World. Many great divine masters of Crimson Rock Castle stood respectfully in front of a huge secret chamber. At this moment, the door of the secret chamber slowly opened. Have you come out? Yun Shan immediately looked up. A beautiful figure slowly walked out of the secret chamber. As soon as this figure appeared, an aura that caused everyone present to be shocked and overwhelmed spread out. This aura was the aura of an immortal saint. And the person who emitted this aura was none other than the Fort Master of Crimson Rock Fort, Xianxia. Congratulations, Fort Master, for breaking through to the immortal saint realm. Congratulations, Fort Master, for breaking through to the immortal saint realm. The voices were loud and clear, reverberating throughout the entire world. One could see that these great divine masters were all extremely excited. This was also very normal. Ever since Crimson Rock Saint died hundreds of thousands of years ago, there had not been another immortal saint in the Pill Sun Sacred World. The reason why the Pill Sun Sacred World had been constantly in the civil war over the past few years was that their strength had been significantly weakened. It was because they lacked an absolute expert that could make all the forces submit to them. And now, the Pill Sun Sacred World had once again listened to Crimson Rock Castle's orders. At this juncture, Xianxia had broken through to become an immortal saint. It could be said that she was justified. In the future, the Pill Sun Sacred World would have an immortal saint personally presiding over it. Castle Lord, Yun Shan, Palace Master Sai Zhan, and the others immediately rushed over to Xianxia. After breaking through to become an immortal saint, Xianxia was obviously quite informed. Uncle Yun Shan, during the time I was in seclusion, did anything happen in the Pill Sun Sacred World? No. Yun Shan shook his head. During this period of time, the Pill Sun Sacred World has been peaceful, and the Heavenly Void World hasn't made any movements. As for the Sword Alliance, because of Mr. Jian Yi's restrictions, they have been quite quiet. That's good. Xianxia nodded slowly. Oh right, Castle Lord. A few days ago, a major incident happened in the Dragon Phoenix Sacred City. Yun Shan suddenly spoke. What major incident? Xianxia looked over. It's like this. Yun Shan immediately recounted the entire incident. After hearing this, Xianxia was like a statue, completely stunned. She was stunned for a long time before she slowly regained her senses. You mean Jian Yi? He faced the joint attack of three immortal saints, yet he managed to kill Realm Lord Qian Chu and Elder Su from the Starpoint Pavilion, while he managed to escape unscathed. Xianxia was clearly in disbelief. Yes, not only that, his current fame in the Golden Crow 9 realms is shocking. There are even people who say that he is from the Golden Crow 9 realms. But, other than the Supreme Lord Bone Emperor, the strongest person is also the most heaven-defying divine master in the history of the Golden Crow 9 realms. Yun Shan said. No wonder he doesn't care about the sacred elixirs at all. A bitter smile appeared on Xianxia's face. I thought that after I broke through to the immortal saint realm, I could finally look down on him and talk to him as an equal. I didn't expect that even though I broke through, the gap between him and me was still enormous. Jian Yi, you are a monster. The 9 realms of the Golden Crow, the Bone Emperor realm, occupied nearly half of the territory. This was a vast and desolate land. Yet, in the center of this land stood a towering castle. This castle was incomparably huge, and its surface was surrounded by a large amount of green divine power. Within the castle, corpses and bones were strewn all over the ground. Many ghastly white bones, human skulls, and bones were scattered all over the ground. In the very center of the castle, there was an enormous high platform that was completely covered by skulls. On the high platform, there was a throne that was similarly made of white bones. On the throne, a skinny older man with an incomparably short stature casually sat there. This older man looked extremely weak, and when the wind blew, all the bones in his body seemed to fall apart. The aura on his body was also ordinary, and he was no different from an average person. However, it was precisely this weak older man was the indisputable overlord of the 9 realms of the Golden Crow. He was the Bone Emperor. At this moment, in the void in front of the Bone Emperor, there was also a picture of a battle going on. Looking at the scene in the picture, a wicked smile appeared on the Bone Emperor's face. Especially when Jian Wushuang killed Realm Lord Chen Chu with one sword strike, the Bone Emperor's eyes slowly narrowed. In terms of power, this sword strike is not much weaker than mine. Of course, a mere divine master can have such battle strength, and he has an immortal body. TSK. Interesting, very interesting. The Bone Emperor smiled sinisterly, but he was already interested in Jian Wushuang. He was interested in Jian Wushuang. I have dominated the 9 worlds of the Golden Crow for many years, but it has been a long time since I encountered such an interesting thing. This man named Jian Yi may not be as strong as me, but with his talent, he will break through to become an immortal saint in the future. Once he breaks through, his battle strength will only be stronger than mine. I want to meet such a person. Go, find him, and invite him to my Bone Emperor realm. Tell him that I have something to discuss with him, the Bone Emperor said. There was not a single person in front of the Bone Emperor. His words seemed to be spoken to the air. However, at the end of the castle, a figure had already set off. Chapter 2892. Farewell to Chu Shi. The battle between Jian Wushuang and the 3 immortal saints was shocking. Countless experts from all the forces in the Golden Crow 9 realms were spreading the news. In less than a few days, Jian Wushuang's name had spread to every corner of the Golden Crow 9 realms. Many people outside of the Golden Crow 9 realms had heard about it, and they were all shocked. Monster. The #1 divine master in the history of the Golden Crow 9 realms. All the titles fell on Jian Wushuang's head. While the entire Golden Crow 9 realms was shocked by Jian Wushuang, as the main character, he had already arrived at a city outside the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion's base. This city was not far from the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion's mountain gate. Usually, genius disciples or experts of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion would pass by here. Jian Wushuang was sitting quietly in a tavern, drinking quietly. On the surface, he was drinking, but in his heart, Jian Wushuang was thinking. Of course, he was thinking about how to get close to Leng Rushuang. In addition, before seeing Leng Rushuang again, Jian Wushuang still had some things to figure out. Jian Wushuang had been in the tavern for 3 days. He had concealed his aura and even disguised his appearance, so no one noticed him. But now, he had noticed 3 people walking out of the tavern. They had just walked out of a shop. They were all great divine masters, led by a purple-haired handsome youth. The purple-haired handsome youth had the most powerful aura, which had reached the level of a peak great divine master. Jian Wushuang also knew this person. That's him. Jian Wushuang grinned. When he saw the purple-haired handsome youth and the other 2 fly out of the city to return to the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion, he immediately chased after them. In the void, the 3 purple-haired handsome young men were flying, and they were about to reach the mountain gate of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. But at this time, whoosh! Without any warning, a figure appeared in front of them out of thin air. As soon as it appeared, a huge divine power that suffocated the 3 of them came over. Is this the immortal saint? The purple-haired handsome young man and the other 2 were shocked. The strength of divine power was determined by the level of divine power. Jian Wushuang's current divine power level had indeed far exceeded that of an ordinary divine master, so it was naturally the same for divine power. It's you. The purple-haired handsome young man recognized Jian Wushuang at once, and the corners of his mouth could not help trembling. "Oh, brother Chu Shi, do you still remember me? In that case, do you remember the battle with me? I'm here to meet you." Jian Wushuang smiled playfully. This purple-haired handsome young man was Chu Shi. When he opened the Dragon Phoenix list in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion, Chu Shi had challenged him to a battle in order to vent his anger on demonist Gu. However, that battle did not really take place. Upon hearing Jian Wushuang's words, Chu Shi could not help trembling. A duel with Jian Wushuang? After all, it had been many days since Jian Wushuang had fought with the three immortal saints. He was one of the genius disciples of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion and had reached the level of a peak great divine master. He had also heard of such a thing. He knew that Jian Wushuang could easily kill the immortal saint. Even the two immortal saint elders in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion would feel immense pressure when facing Jian Wushuang. Asking him to fight with Jian Wushuang? Was that not courting death? Senior brother Chu Shi, do you know this person? The two disciples next to him asked because they did not know what had happened, nor did they know Jian Wushuang's background. "Shut up!" Chu Shi shouted directly. Then he looked at Jian Wushuang again and forced a smile on his face. Sir Jian Yi, you must be joking. I was blind to offend you before, sir. I hope you can forgive me. Jian Yi." The two disciples of Dragon Phoenix Pavilion were also shocked. They looked at Jian Wushuang with shock and fear. Chu Shi was also terrified. He thought that Jian Wushuang really came for the battle, so he immediately begged for mercy. However, he was careful. He quietly took out a message token and was ready to ask the experts of Dragon Phoenix Pavilion for help. After all, the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion's nest was nearby. As soon as he sent the message, the immortal saint of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion would immediately come to his rescue. However, how could he hide his thoughts from Jian Wushuang? "Chu Shi, I advise you not to play any tricks. Otherwise, I won't be polite," Jian Wushuang said with a wicked smile. Chu Shi's hands trembled, and his face was extremely embarrassed. As for the communication, it naturally failed. "Don't worry. I'm not here to find trouble with you, nor for the duel. I just have some questions to ask you. I hope you can answer them truthfully," Jian Wushuang said. "If you have any questions, please ask me. I'll tell you everything," Chu Shi said. "My question is very simple. It's about your Dragon Phoenix Pavilion's young phoenix. I want you to tell me everything you know," Jian Wushuang said directly. "Young phoenix? Junior sister Lung?" Chu Shi's expression changed and he immediately understood. When the Dragon Phoenix list was released, Jian Yi had come into contact with the young phoenix. At that time, everyone could see that Jian Wushuang and the young phoenix seemed to have a special relationship. It was normal for Jian Yi to ask about the young phoenix now. Facing Jian Wushuang, Chu Shi knew Jian Wushuang's fierce reputation and strength, so he did not dare to hide anything. He immediately told him everything he knew about the young phoenix. Jian Wushuang frowned when he heard this. What Chu Shi said was not very different from what was spread in the outside world. What he said was also what he already knew. It was meaningless. "Chu Shi, do you really want to die?" Jian Wushuang's face darkened. "Do you think I won't dare to kill you because you are a genius disciple of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion?" "No, no." Chu Shi shook his head immediately. "Master Jian Yi, I've told you everything I know. If you don't believe me, you can ask my two junior brothers. They must know the same thing." Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. Chu Shi did not look like he was lying. "Master Jian Yi, in fact, we don't know much about junior sister Leng. Junior sister Leng has always been a recluse and has almost never interacted with us. Junior sister Leng has been in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion for so many years, but she only spoke to me twice, and it was the simplest 2 sentences. In addition, some of junior sister Leng's matters are also considered top secret in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. Only her master, Elder Qin, and the other immortal saint elders of the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion know about these things. Disciples like us really don't know anything," Chu Shi said. Chapter 2893, Transfer. Hearing Chu Shi's words, Jian Wushuang's frown deepened. He knew that Leng Rushuang was a loner. In his previous life, Leng Rushuang was such a loner. However, Jian Wushuang did not expect that some things about Leng Rushuang were so secret in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion that even genius disciples like Chu Shi were not qualified to know about it. Only the top immortal saints knew about it. I wanted to find out about Shuang'er's background and her high talent from Chu Shi. Besides, Shuang'er is only a divine master, but she is ranked 3rd on the Dragon Phoenix list. There must be some important secrets. But now, it seems that I have to find the immortal saint from the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. Jian Wushuang pondered. There were a total of 3 known immortal saints in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. These 3 should know about it. However, some of Leng Rushuang's matters were kept a secret within the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. Even if he went to inquire about it, the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion would most likely not tell him. Unless he had the ability to make the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion bow to him, such as reaching the level of the Bone Emperor. But now, although he had killed 2 immortal saints in the previous battle, and his battle strength was terrifying enough to make the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion take him seriously and not dare to underestimate him, he still could not make the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion bow to him. Forget it. I can only think of a way to deal with the matter of Shuang'er after I become stronger, Jian Wushuang thought. He had made up his mind that he would visit Leng Rushuang when he was stronger. By then, he would know everything about Leng Rushuang's life even in the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. You can go. Jian Wushuang turned around and left. After Jian Wushuang left, Chu Shi and the other 2 finally let out a sigh of relief. Chu Shi was especially worried that Jian Wushuang would kill him. After all, he had offended Jian Wushuang before. Senior brother Chu Shi, was that really Jian Yi? The monster who killed 2 immortal saints? A disciple from the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion looked over. Who else could it be? Chu Shi glanced at the disciple and then said seriously, "Let's go back. We have to report this to Elder Qin and the others." Chu Shi and the other 2 immediately went back to the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion. After seeing Chu Shi, Jian Wushuang held back his excitement. Instead of waiting outside the Dragon Phoenix Pavilion, he went back to the Pil Sun Sacred World. This time, he came back to solve the awkward situation of the Sword Alliance in the Pil Sun Sacred World. After all, the Pil Sun Sacred World was now completely under the control of the Crimson Rock Castle. All the forces listened to the orders of the Crimson Rock Castle, but the Sword Alliance had always been very special. After all, the Sword Alliance was very powerful, and the key was the existence of the Alliance Master. The Crimson Rock Castle could not control the Sword Alliance at all. Even the experts in the Sword Alliance had always wanted to expand and replace the Crimson Rock Castle. They were just suppressed by Jian Wushuang. However, this suppression could not last long. Therefore, Jian Wushuang had already planned for the Sword Alliance. The best way was to conquer a world and move the Sword Alliance completely to the Sacred World. Now, the opportunity had come. In the lofty hall of the Sword Alliance, Jian Wushuang sat on the throne at the top. Xiao Taishan stood beside him, and many experts of the Sword Alliance looked at Jian Wushuang with respect and worship. In the Sword Alliance, Jian Wushuang was God and heaven. There was no doubt about that. Jian Wushuang glanced at these experts and nodded slightly. He had not left the Pil Sun Sacred World for a long time. During this time, Xiao Taishan clearly followed his orders and did not expand to the outside world. There were not many more experts in the Sword Alliance than before. "Everyone, I have called you here today for one thing." Jian Wushuang's voice reverberated throughout the hall. "I will give you 1 year to prepare. After 1 year, all the experts of the Sword Alliance will leave the Pil Sun Sacred World with me." As soon as Jian Wushuang said this, the entire hall was in an uproar. Most people were baffled and did not know what Jian Wushuang meant. "Young master," Xiao Taishan also asked, "are you going to take the entire Sword Alliance out of the Pil Sun Sacred World?" "Yes." Jian Wushuang nodded. "Where to?" Xiao Taishan asked again. "To the Heaven Curve World," Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Heaven Curve World? Many experts of the Sword Alliance still frowned. These experts were very weak. Only Elder Tong, Snake Elder, and Great Divine Master Ju Xin were Great Divine Masters. The rest were only Divine Masters. Apart from Elder Tong, the rest of them had never ventured outside. They did not know much about the situation outside. To them, the Pil Sun Sacred World was not small at all. They had already accumulated a certain amount of foundation here. Of course, they did not want to leave. Not to mention them, even Xiao Taishan, Jian Wushuang's intimate maid, did not want to leave. Jian Wushuang naturally noticed the changes in the expressions of the people in front of him. He immediately lowered his voice. One mountain cannot accommodate two tigers. The Pill Sun sacred world already has the Crimson Rock Castle, so it cannot accommodate a sword alliance that is not weaker than Crimson Rock Castle, or even stronger. The Heaven Curve world is much larger than the Pill Sun sacred world, with more experts and a bigger platform. Most importantly, I have killed the World Master of the Heaven Curve world. I will bring the Corpse Puppet Army to Heaven Curve world immediately. With a wave of my hand, I can wipe out all the resistance forces and experts in the Heaven Curve world, so that the Sword Union can occupy the vast sacred world safely. This is the best result for the Sword Alliance. Of course, I know that you are all born in the Pill Sun sacred world, and your roots are here. You don't want to leave so easily, so I won't force you. In short, those who are willing to go with me will leave in a year. If not, I will give you a batch of resources and let you leave. But in a year, there will be no sword alliance in the Pill Sun sacred world. Jian Wushuang said firmly without any room for negotiation. He had made this decision long ago. His original purpose in founding the Sword Alliance was to help the Crimson Rock Castle regain control of the Pill Sun sacred world. He would never allow the Sword Alliance to threaten the status of the Crimson Rock Castle. Now that he had conquered a holy world for the Sword Alliance and completely transferred the Sword Alliance there, he had done his best as the Alliance Master. Hearing Jian Wushuang's words, many experts of the Sword Alliance were shocked. They all heard that Jian Wushuang had killed the Realm Lord of the Heaven Curve world with his own hands. A Realm Lord should be an immortal saint, right? Chapter 2894. Make way. The Alliance Master killed an immortal saint with his own hands? The experts of the Sword Alliance were shocked. After a short moment of shock, they began to ponder. They were hesitating whether to follow Jian Wushuang to the Heaven Curve world. Obviously, the Heaven Curve world was more vast than the Pill Sun sacred world, and the platform was also larger. The Sword Alliance could directly control everything there, which was very beneficial to every cultivator in the Sword Alliance. However, in that case, they had to leave the Pill Sun sacred world. Everyone was hesitating. Jian Wushuang did not have time to wait for them to make a decision. He glanced at Xiao Taishan beside him and said, "Xin, you heard what I said. I'll leave the rest to you." "Yes." Xiao Taishan nodded respectfully. Jian Wushuang disappeared from the hall. After leaving the Sword Alliance, Jian Wushuang immediately went to Crimson Rock Castle. In Crimson Rock Castle, Jian Wushuang met Xianxia, who had broken through to become an immortal saint. "Castle Lord Yin, congratulations. You finally reached the immortal saint level." Jian Wushuang smiled and said, "It's all thanks to you, Mr. Jian Yi. Xia is very grateful for your help," Xianxia said solemnly. She was telling the truth. There were two reasons why she was able to make the breakthrough. First, the crisis in Crimson Rock Castle had been resolved. The situation had been resolved, and her worry had completely disappeared. Second, it was because of the Saint Ascension Elixir. The crisis in Crimson Rock Castle had been resolved with Jian Wushuang's full help, and the Saint Ascension Elixir had been given to her directly by Jian Wushuang. "Mr. Jian Yi, I heard that you fought against 3 immortal saints alone in the Dragon Phoenix Sacred City. You even killed Realm Lord Qian Chu and Elder Su on the spot. What an awe-inspiring and admirable skill you have." Xianxia sighed softly. "Well, let's not talk about formalities for now." Jian Wushuang waved his hand and said, "I'm here today for one thing." Xianxia immediately looked over. Realm Lord Qian Chu is dead. Without the immortal saint in charge of the Qian Chu world, it should be a mess now. I plan to take the Corpse Puppet Army to sweep the obstacles in the Qian Chu world and then transfer the Sword Alliance there, Jian Wushuang said. "Sweep the Qian Chu world?" Xianxia was shocked. Qian Chu world was a sacred world that was much bigger than the Pill Sun sacred world. It was so domineering to sweep the entire sacred world. However, Xianxia also knew that Jian Wushuang did have such strength. "Mr. Jian Yi, with your current strength, it's easy for you to sweep the Qian Chu world, but I'm afraid it won't be easy for you to transfer the Sword Alliance there," Xianxia said. "Why?" Jian Wushuang was puzzled. Mr. Jian Yi, the Sword Alliance is a big force after all. It has a big business and many cultivators under its command. If you want to transfer the Sword Alliance at one time, you must bring a lot of cultivators with you. If so many cultivators go directly to the Heaven Curve world through the space passage, the price will be too high. Even you, Mr. Jian Yi, don't want to bear such a huge price, Xianxia said. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. It was true that the cost of teleporting from one realm to another was very high. Jian Wushuang did not care about the cost of tens or hundreds of cultivators. However, there were at least 10,000 cultivators in such a large sword alliance. If there were families, there would be even more. Even Jian Wushuang would not be able to afford the cost of teleportation. If I can't use the space passage to transfer, I'll have to rely on my own strength to get from the Pill Sun Sacred World to the Heaven Curve World. However, there are two realms between the Pill Sun Sacred World and the Heaven Curve World. These two realms are the Heaven Void World and the Dragon God World. If the Sword Alliance wants to go to the Heaven Curve World, they have to pass through these two realms. In other words, Mr. Jian Yi, you have to borrow the passage from these two realms. In these two realms, the Dragon God realm is still fine. The Dragon God realm lord, the old Dragon God, used to have a good relationship with my father. The reason why the Divine Void realm hasn't been able to attack our Pill Sun Sacred World is that the Dragon God realm is watching us from the side, which is enough to intimidate the Divine Void realm. As long as I send a message to the old Dragon God, or if Mr. Jian Yi goes to visit him personally, the old Dragon God will definitely agree to take the path. But the key is the Heavenly Void realm.
Xianxia sighed.
The Heavenly Void World? Jian Wushuang curled his lips. As long as the old Dragon God agrees to let me pass, I'll go there myself. Xianxia raised her eyebrows. She already knew what Jian Wushuang was going to do. Jian Wushuang did not stay in the Pill Sun Sacred World any longer. He immediately led the Corpse Puppet Army to the Heavenly Void World. The Heavenly Void World was ruled by the Heavenly Void Palace. The Heavenly Void Palace was located at the core of the Heavenly Void World. It was on a vast and beautiful island. The island was filled with sparrows and sparrows. It was a paradise on earth. To the various forces and countless cultivators in the Heavenly Void World, this island was also a holy land that everyone yearned for. The owner of the island, the Heavenly Void Temple Master, had long been a legend in the Heavenly Void World. At this moment, Jian Wushuang had already arrived at the void above the island. Looking down at the celestial-like Heavenly Void Temple on the island through the layer of restrictions covering the island, a teasing smile appeared on the corner of Jian Wushuang's mouth. That Heavenly Void Palace Master really knows how to enjoy himself. The Heavenly Void Palace he created is really magnificent. After mumbling, Jian Wushuang shouted in a low voice, "Heavenly Void Palace Master, get out here! Get out here!" A mighty voice that sounded like thunder echoed in the entire Heavenly Void Palace. The peace in the Heavenly Void Palace was immediately broken. In an instant, countless figures rushed out of the island. At the same time, there were also many shocked and furious voices. Who dares to be presumptuous in front of our Heavenly Void Palace? Who dares to be disrespectful to the Lord Palace Master? How dare you ask the Lord Palace Master to get out? How dare you? Those who rushed out were all experts from the Heavenly Void Palace. Their bodies were filled with a fit of shocking anger. When they appeared in the void and saw Jian Wushuang standing outside the island, the aura he emitted was only that of a divine master. The anger of these experts grew even more. A mere divine master dares to shout in front of the Heavenly Void Palace. He's really courting death. Kill him. Immediately, experts of the Heavenly Void Palace attacked, wanting to kill Jian Wushuang on the spot. Chapter 2895. Bow your head, stop. A roar suddenly echoed in the sky. The roar contained a terrifying pressure. The experts of the Heavenly Void Palace who were about to kill Jian Wushuang immediately stopped under the pressure. Countless eyes looked at the end of the island. There, a figure slowly rose. It was the Heavenly Void Palace Master. Palace Master. Palace Master has appeared. The experts of the Heavenly Void Palace immediately showed a fanatical look. To them, the Heavenly Void Palace Master was a godlike existence, the ruler of the heavenly void world, and they blindly worshipped him. Jian Wushuang also saw the heavenly void palace master at this moment, but then he smiled disdainfully. Heavenly void temple master, aren't you a little too timid? I hid underground and only condensed a consciousness avatar to see me. Are you afraid that I will directly kill you when I see you? Jian Wushuang did not conceal the mockery in his words. Upon hearing this, most experts of Heavenly Void Temple were immediately furious. However, some of the more powerful experts who had connections in the Golden Crow 9 realms were staring at Jian Wushuang. This man is only a divine master, but he is so fearless when facing the palace master. He even looks down on us. Is he? Jian Yi? Jian Yi, yes, it must be him. Only he dares to face the palace master so fearlessly. Jian Yi actually came directly to the gate of the Heavenly Void Palace. Those who knew Jian Wushuang's identity and strength were shocked. They knew that when Sword One fought against the 3 immortal saints alone, one of them was their palace master. Only their palace master survived at that time, but now, Jian Yi came to the Heavenly Void Palace. It was no wonder that the palace master did not dare to meet him in person. He had only condensed a consciousness avatar. The consciousness avatar of the Heavenly Void Palace Master also stared at Jian Wushuang with a cold face. Jian Yi, how dare you come to the Heavenly Void world? Don't forget the agreement that Lord Bone Emperor made with the other forces. That agreement? Jian Wushuang's expression changed, then he smiled and said, I've heard of that agreement. Isn't it that a realm master or an immortal saint is not allowed to set foot in other sacred worlds? But don't forget that I'm not a realm master and I'm not an immortal saint. In that case, how can I not come to the Heavenly Void world? Heavenly Void Temple Master was stunned. He then remembered that although Jian Wushuang had the battle strength to kill an immortal saint, his realm was only that of a divine master. Yes, he was only a divine master, and he was not a master of a world. That agreement could not restrict him, so he did not have to keep it. Jian Yi, there is no great enmity between us. Although I killed you with Realm Lord Qian Chu and Elder Su, I did not kill you. On the contrary, I improved your strength, Heavenly Void Temple Master said. Oh? You mean I shouldn't blame you, but thank you? Jian Wushuang sneered. No, I'm just saying that we don't have a deep hatred, so there's no need to fight to the death. But, if you're still angry, I'll pay a price to apologize to you, Heavenly Void Temple Master said. Jian Wushuang could tell that the Temple Master had already decided to bow his head from his words. He was not the only one who had heard it. The experts of the Heavenly Void Palace had also heard it. Most of the people who did not know what was going on were stunned. They could not believe that their palace master would bow his head to a mere divine master like Jian Wushuang. Only those who knew what had happened nodded secretly. They knew that what the Temple Master had done was a wise move. You're right. The hatred between us was not too great, so I don't have to kill you. Since you're willing to make amends, as long as you're sincere enough, I can accept it. Jian Wushuang smiled slightly. How about this? I don't want too much. 400,000 sacred elixirs, and we can end the grudge between us. The sacred elixirs that Jian Wushuang asked for were reasonable. An ordinary immortal saint had 500,000 to 600,000 sacred elixirs. As a master of a world, the Heavenly Void Temple Master had accumulated wealth for so many years, so his wealth was naturally higher. It was estimated that he could afford more than 1 million sacred elixirs. Jian Wushuang only wanted 400,000 sacred elixirs, which was already considered very merciful. As expected, after hearing Jian Wushuang's request, the Heavenly Void Temple Master, although a little distressed, agreed to it directly. I can give you 400,000 sacred elixirs. The Master of Heaven Void Temple's consciousness avatar nodded, and a stream of light immediately shot toward Jian Wushuang from the deepest part of Heaven Void Temple. Jian Wushuang reached out and took the interspatial ring from the stream of light. He checked it carefully and found that there were indeed no less than 400,000 sacred elixirs in the interspatial ring. Seeing this, Jian Wushuang smiled in his heart. Previously, he had killed Realm Lord Qian Chu and Elder Su and obtained their interspatial rings, which contained many sacred elixirs and various treasures. Now, he had obtained 400,000 sacred elixirs from the Heavenly Void Temple Master. Jian Wushuang already had no less than 2 million sacred elixirs, of course. 2 million sacred elixirs were far from enough for him to break through from an advanced Great Divine Master to a peak Great Divine Master, but it was still a considerable amount of wealth. Temple Master, I have another small matter that I need your cooperation with, Jian Wushuang said. What is it? Temple Master asked patiently. Well, I have established a force called the Sword Alliance in the Pill Sun sacred world. It won't be long before I transfer the Sword Alliance to the Heaven Curve world. Many cultivators of the Sword Alliance will need to pass through your Heavenly Void world. I hope you can cooperate with me. If possible, you'd better arrange for your Heavenly Void army to escort you personally in case anything goes wrong, Jian Wushuang said with a smile. Not only do we have to cooperate, but we also have to escort them. Although the Heavenly Void Temple Master was a little angry, he did not dare lose his temper. Sure. Thank you very much. Goodbye. Jian Wushuang smiled and turned to leave. Seeing Jian Wushuang leave, the Heavenly Void Temple Master let out a heavy sigh. Then his consciousness avatar slowly disappeared into the void. The cultivators of the Heavenly Void Temple were still in a daze. They had not recovered from their shock. As for Jian Wushuang, after he had agreed with the master of the Heaven Void Temple, he immediately left and went to the Dragon God realm to meet the old Dragon God. Chapter 2896. Jian Yi arrived as Xianxia had said. The old Dragon God was very friendly to Jian Wushuang. When he knew that Jian Wushuang was here to borrow the path, he agreed without hesitation. Since then, the matter of borrowing the path had been completed, and the next step was to flatten the Heaven Curve world. Jian Wushuang soon arrived in the Heaven Curve world. The Heaven Curve world was originally the supreme realm of the World Master, and all the forces had submitted to him. His Heaven Curve Palace was also the indisputable habitat of the Heaven Curve world. However, since the news spread that the World Master was killed by Jian Wushuang, the Heaven Curve world immediately faced the same situation as the Pill Sun sacred world. A lot of disputes began to appear. The Heaven Curve Palace could no longer keep its word like before. There were even factions fighting among themselves. In short, the Heaven Curve world was now very chaotic. In a grand hall in the Heaven Curve Palace, dozens of figures gathered together. They were all-powerful great divine masters. The leader of them was a brown-haired man. This brown-haired man was none other than the second unrivaled divine master in the Heaven Curve world apart from the Black Blood Emperor, Divine Master Bloodlamp. Chaos, chaos. The entire Heaven Curve world is in chaos now. Our Heaven Curve world's territory is extremely vast and there are many experts. These experts have formed many major powers and their foundations are all extraordinary. Previously, when the Realm Lord was here, none of these powers dared to disobey his orders. But now that the Realm Lord has died, these major powers immediately began to have their own intentions. Not to mention these big forces, even the people from the Deacon's Hall, the Heaven Pavilion, and the Heaven Curve army in our Heaven Curve Palace are doing something. Even Lord Bloodlamp's orders are ignored. Many great divine masters were discussing, but none of them looked good. All right, shut up. Bloodlamp Divine Master finally spoke. As soon as he spoke, everyone in the hall immediately quieted down. Bloodlamp Divine Master fell silent for a moment before he finally spoke. It has been so many years since the establishment of the Heavenly Curve world. The Realm Lord has always revered the Heavenly Curve world. Now that the Realm Lord has suddenly fallen, it is inevitable that there would be some commotion. Now, we have no way to complain about this. Instead, we should think of ways to deal with the current situation. And there's only one way to calm the chaos in the Heavenly Curve world. That is to use a powerful method to intimidate the various powers and calm them down, just like how the Realm Lord did before. But such a person. Bloodlamp could not help but frown. What he said was indeed the best method. But there was not anyone in the Heavenly Curve world who could make the experts of the various powers in the Heavenly Curve world not dare to act rashly. He was the strongest person in the Heavenly Curve world in terms of personal strength. However, he was only an invincible divine master in the first stage. In terms of combat strength, he was weaker than the Marquis of Three Yin, who had fought with Jian Wushuang before. Although he was stronger than the peak divine masters, the experts in the Heavenly Curve world were as numerous as the clouds. There were several powerful peak divine masters. Any 2 or 3 of them working together would be enough to fight against him. With his strength alone, He's no threat to the world. Damn it, it's fine if the Realm Lord died, but even the Black Blood Emperor is dead. Otherwise, with the Black Blood Emperor's strength, if he joined forces with me, it would be enough to make the various powers in the Heavenly Curve world not dare to act rashly. The Blood Lamp Divine Master cursed in his heart. The Black Blood Emperor is the second stage of the Invincible Divine Master. The combat strength is much stronger than him. The two unrivaled reverent gods working together were enough to sweep through all the forces of the Heavenly Curve world. But the crux of the matter was that the Black Blood Emperor had also fallen. And just as Blood Lamp Reverent God and the others were frowning, whoosh! A figure appeared in the hall without any warning. Everyone, is there anything I can help you with? A faint smile with a hint of mockery reverberated in the hall. All the experts in the hall immediately turned to look at the newcomer. Everyone was shocked when they saw him. You are Jian Yi. Divine Master Bloodlamp stared at Jian Wushuang. Jian Yi. The moment the name was uttered, the entire hall burst into an uproar. The great divine masters in the hall immediately distanced themselves from Jian Wushuang and stared at him with fear and vigilance. A few of them even took out their magic weapons on the spot. What's wrong? Do you want to fight me? Jian Wushuang crossed his arms and glanced at the great divine masters who took out their magic weapons. The great divine masters were shocked and their hearts could not help trembling. Put them away, Divine Master Bloodlamp shouted. The great divine masters immediately put their magic weapons back into their interspatial rings. Divine Master Bloodlamp looked at Jian Wushuang and took a deep breath. After a long while, he said, "May I know why Sir Xianxia has come to our Heavenly Curve Palace?" Although they were both divine masters, Divine Master Bloodlamp was still a genuine invincible divine master. However, when he faced Jian Wushuang, he had to respectfully address him as Sir. That was the difference between them. I came here for 2 reasons. Jian Wushuang extended 2 fingers. First, from today onward, the Heavenly Curve world will respect me. Experts from all forces in the Heavenly Curve world must submit to me. Those who refuse to submit will be killed without mercy. Everyone in the hall was stunned, but no one dared to object. They did not have the courage to fight against Jian Wushuang, who could directly kill Realm Master Qian Chu. As for avenging Realm Master Qian Chu, they did not have the slightest intention to do so. After all, they were only the subordinates of Realm Master Qian Chu, and because Realm Master Qian Chu was too aloof, they did not have a deep relationship with him. In addition, now that the Heavenly Curve world was in chaos, someone needed to calm it down. Divine Master Bloodlamp was not qualified, but Jian Wushuang definitely had the ability to do so. Secondly, I once created a force called the Sword Alliance in the Pill Sun Sacred World. It won't be long before the Sword Alliance is transferred to the Heavenly Curve world. By then, the Sword Alliance will be supreme in the Heavenly Curve world, and Heavenly Curve Palace will cease to exist. As for you, if you are willing, you can join the Sword Alliance. I can guarantee that you will have a place in the Sword Alliance in the future. If you are not willing, you can leave. But I don't want any of you to mention Heavenly Curve Palace in the future, Jian Wushuang said coldly. Hearing this, the great divine masters in the hall looked at each other with mixed feelings. But at the same time, no one dared to go against Jian Wushuang's words. Chapter 2897. Bone Emperor invites you. Jian Wushuang stood quietly in the hall, waiting for the response of the people in front of him. After a brief discussion, the experts of Heavenly Curve Palace came to a unanimous decision. Lord Jian Yi, we are willing to follow you. From now on, you will be the most respected person in the Heavenly Curve world, Divine Master Bloodlamp said solemnly. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang smiled with satisfaction, but he was not surprised. He had long heard that the former Realm Master of Heavenly Curve world was supreme and overbearing in the Heavenly Curve world, whether to outsiders or his subordinates. Therefore, not many people in the Heavenly Curve world were truly loyal to him. The Black Blood Emperor he killed was one of them, but Bloodlamp Divine Master was not absolutely loyal to the Realm Master of Heavenly Curve world. Now that Realm Master Qian Chu was dead, it was the wisest choice for Bloodlamp Divine Master and the others to submit to him. After subduing Bloodlamp Divine Master and the others, Jian Wushuang would begin to pacify the turmoil in the Heavenly Curve world. The Heavenly Curve world was in chaos because it lacked the Immortal Saint's battle strength. But now that Jian Wushuang had arrived, it was easy for him to pacify the turmoil. He took out the corpse puppet army and led it by divine master bloodlamp to wipe out the forces. Even if there were a stubborn resistance, he would come out personally. In front of his absolute strength, the experts of the heavenly curve world had no room to struggle. In less than a month, the turmoil in the heavenly curve world was completely calmed down. The forces bowed their heads and submitted to him. Jian Wushuang had officially taken over the fallen realm master and become the new ruler of the heavenly curve world. Since then, all the preparations had been completed. All that was left was for the Sword Alliance to transfer over. In a desolate void in the heavenly curve world. Buzz! A hidden space passage suddenly lit up. A moment later, a black-robed figure appeared in the void like a ghost. Has he arrived at the heavenly curve world? The ghost figure raised his head, revealing a pair of demonic eyes. That Jian Yi is really troublesome. Previously, he killed the heavenly curve world lord and elder Su in the Dragon Phoenix sacred city. After that, he returned to the Pill Sun sacred world. When I rushed to the Pill Sun sacred world, he went to the heavenly void temple. He had already gone to the dragon god world by the time I arrived to look for the old dragon god. When I received the news and went to the dragon god world again, this sword one actually came to the heavenly curve world again. The ghost figure shook his head. He felt bitter in his heart. I hope I can meet him this time. The ghost figure immediately set off. Soon, he arrived at the former base of Heavenly Curve Palace. He did not make a wasted trip this time because he was indeed still in Heavenly Curve Palace. Mr. Jian Yi. The ghost figure came to Jian Wushuang and said with a smile. Although his expression was modest, he was not too afraid. Who are you? Jian Wushuang looked at the person in front of him in confusion. The aura of the person in front of him was very strange and obscure. However, Jian Wushuang could still tell that this person was a genuine immortal saint and Dongling from the Bone Emperor realm. The ghost figure raised his head, revealing an extremely demonic young face. Bone Emperor realm? You're from the Bone Emperor realm? Jian Wushuang was stunned. The most powerful expert in the 9 realms of the Golden Crow was the Supreme Bone Emperor. Not only was he terrifyingly strong, but he was unrivaled in the 9 realms of the Golden Crow. He also had many experts under his command, including several immortal saints. When the Dragon Phoenix list was released, one of the immortal saints under the Bone Emperor went to attend the ceremony. Now, Dongling was obviously the second one. Mr. Jian Yi, I'm here today on the order of my Lord Bone Emperor. My lord wants to invite you to the Bone Emperor realm to meet him, Dongling said. Bone Emperor invited me? Jian Wushuang frowned slightly. He had no contact with this Bone Emperor, and they had no contact at all. But now, this Bone Emperor had specially sent someone to invite him. This made Jian Wushuang curious about the purpose of the Bone Emperor. Could it be that the Bone Emperor felt threatened by my previous achievements and potential, so he came to find me? Jian Wushuang thought to himself. However, he immediately denied this guess. No, that Bone Emperor is not a fool for being the overlord of the 9 Golden Crow realms for so long. He should know that what I have is not limited by the 9 Golden Crow realms. I will definitely leave the 9 Golden Crow realms for a more vast place in the future. It won't be long before I leave. There's no need for him to get involved with me. He just needs to wait for me to leave. By then, he will still be the overlord of the 9 Golden Crow realms. I won't affect his status at all. Secondly, even if he is very jealous, he should be able to tell that he can't kill me. In the previous battle, Jian Wushuang had revealed many trump cards, including his immortal body. Realm Master Qian Chu and the others could not control the immortal body at all, and they were still far from it. However, as long as an expert had the immortal body, it would be very difficult for an immortal saint of the same level to kill him. Although Jian Wushuang was not an immortal saint, his battle strength was much stronger than that of an ordinary immortal saint. Moreover, he had an immortal body. Therefore, even if Lord Bone Emperor attacked him personally, he could defeat or suppress him. However, it was impossible to kill him. Bone Emperor should also know this. Therefore, the Bone Emperor came to invite him was most likely not to deal with him but for other purposes. However, Jian Wushuang could not guess what his purpose was. Dongling, do you know why the Bone Emperor invited me? Jian Wushuang asked. My lord hasn't told me. Dongling shook her head. Jian Wushuang knocked on the armchair with his fingers. Then, after a moment of hesitation, he made a decision. Since the Bone Emperor invited me, I'll go with you. Jian Wushuang smiled. Seeing Jian Wushuang agree, Dongling also smiled. After Jian Wushuang gave a few instructions to Divine Master Bloodlamp, he followed Dongling to the Bone Emperor realm. The Bone Emperor realm was an emperor realm. In terms of territory, the Bone Emperor realm was much larger than the other realms in the 9 realms of the Golden Crow. Half of the 9 realms of the Golden Crow territory was occupied by the Bone Emperor realm. With such a large territory, there were naturally more experts. It was said that there were several immortal saints in the Bone Emperor realm, but most of them had submitted to the Bone Emperor. Whether it was in the Bone Emperor realm or in the 9 realms of the Golden Crow, the Bone Emperor was a man of his word. From this, one could see his strength. Chapter 2898. Bone Emperor under the guidance of Dongling, Jian Wushuang arrived at the Bone Emperor Castle. Upon entering the Bone Emperor Castle, all he could see was a pile of white bones. When he reached the deepest part of the Bone Emperor Castle, Jian Wushuang finally saw the Bone Emperor on a high platform made entirely of skulls. Sir, Mr. Jianyi has arrived. Dongling greeted respectfully. Greetings, Lord Bone Emperor. Jian Wushuang also bowed humbly. He knew very well that the Bone Emperor was far stronger than him in terms of strength alone. He should also maintain a certain amount of respect in front of the Bone Emperor. While bowing, he also looked at the skinny, short, and ordinary-looking old man on the throne. At first glance, this old man looked no different from an ordinary person. If it were not for the fact that they were in the Bone Emperor Castle, it was hard for Jian Wushuang to imagine that this old man was the overlord of the 9 realms of the Golden Crow. Dongling, you may leave first, Bone Emperor ordered in a gentle voice. Yes. Dongling immediately left, leaving only Jian Wushuang and Bone Emperor in the vast space of corpses. Please take a seat. Bone Emperor waved his hand, and a throne made of white bones appeared behind Jian Wushuang. Jian Wushuang did not stand on ceremony and directly sat down. Then, the throne rose to a high place and sat on the same level as the Bone Emperor. Jianyi, do you know why I've invited you here today? Bone Emperor looked at Jian Wushuang with a smile. I don't know. Please enlighten me, Lord Bone Emperor. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Actually, it's nothing. I just feel that you have great potential, so I want to meet you. The Bone Emperor said. Is it that simple? Jian Wushuang frowned. Of course, he did not think that the Bone Emperor's purpose was so simple. Jianyi, I have investigated your information. You came from the Pill Sun sacred world and rose for a very short time. When you rose, you tried to help the declining Crimson Rock Castle. However, as far as I know, there is no relationship between you and Crimson Rock Castle. So, if I'm not wrong, you must have a deep relationship with the fallen Crimson Rock Saint, right? The Bone Emperor suddenly asked. Yes, I do. Jian Wushuang did not deny it. Are you a personal disciple of Saint Crimson Rock? The Bone Emperor asked. No. Jian Wushuang shook his head. Saint Crimson Rock and I are just working together. His remaining consciousness has given me a lot of benefits, so I promise to help his daughter, Xianxia, get out of this predicament and take full control of Crimson Rock Castle. His relationship with the Crimson Rock Saint and the agreement between the two of them were not convenient to announce previously. However, now that the Pill Sun sacred world had completely stabilized, there was nothing left to hide. Is that so? The Bone Emperor raised his brows. Following that, he smiled sinisterly and said, that Crimson Rock Saint has really good taste. He is clearly already dead, yet he was able to invite such a genius to help Crimson Rock Castle. If Crimson Rock Castle did not have your full assistance, I'm afraid it would have long ceased to exist. After a pause, Bone Emperor spoke again. For a genius like you, or even a monster, to ask you to work for him wholeheartedly, Saint Crimson Rock must have paid a great price. Jian Wushuang's expression changed. He vaguely felt that this Lord Bone Emperor was trying to trick him again. Saint Crimson Rock did pay a price, but when I agreed with Saint Crimson Rock, I didn't even reach the level of Divine Master. Therefore, my horizons were very limited. The treasures given by Saint Crimson Rock were not very precious, but they were of great use to me at that time. As a person who values friendship, I will do my best to fulfill my promise to others. Although it's a little difficult, I will still do my best, Jian Wushuang said. That can't be right, Bone Emperor said with a strange smile. It's a scroll of heaven sealing painting. It's a treasure that many immortal saints would fight over. So how could it become an insignificant treasure in your mouth? Hearing this, Jian Wushuang's expression suddenly changed. Although he recovered immediately, Bone Emperor still noticed it. Bone Emperor's eyes immediately flashed with a bright light. Sure enough, Xianxia gave you the heaven-sealing map scroll in his hand. Lord Bone Emperor, if you have anything to ask, feel free to ask. There's no need to beat around the bush. Jian Wushuang frowned with some displeasure. Ha ha, don't be nervous. It's just that I couldn't be sure before, so I can't say too much about some things. But now that I know that Xianxia's heaven-sealing map scroll is in your hands, it's easy to deal with. Bone Emperor smiled indifferently. The seal the heavens painting, that's a good thing. It's said that the complete seal of the heavens painting contains a great fortune, and it's even related to a great secret. But unfortunately, the seal the heavens painting has been divided into countless pieces since a long time ago. So it's impossible to gather the complete seal of the heavens painting. However, there have been rumors in the outside world that even if there is only one heaven-sealing painting scroll, it will be of great help to the cultivator. Gathering 2 scrolls is even more useful. As for gathering 3 scrolls, it is said that you can get a great opportunity. Although I don't know whether this rumor is true or not, since it can spread throughout the entire absolute beginning divine realm, it is most likely useful. And I have known for a long time that Crimson Rock has a heaven-sealing painting scroll. Even his death is related to this heaven-sealing painting scroll. However, since his death, some of the treasures in his hands have been passed down from Crimson Rock Castle. However, there has been no news of the heaven-sealing scroll. I only heard that he left it in his tomb, waiting for someone to pass his test and become his personal disciple. Since the consciousness left by Saint Crimson Rock has met you for the new year and agreed with you, the heaven-sealing scroll most likely fell into your hands. Only treasures like the heaven-sealing scroll can move a genius like you. Therefore, I deliberately tested you just now. Now it seems that it's true. However, Jian Wushuang's expression had turned cold. Indeed, the heaven-sealing scroll is in my hands. Could it be that Lord Bone Emperor came for it? Jian Wushuang stared at Bone Emperor. Don't misunderstand. I'm not interested in the heaven-sealing scroll in your hands. After all, you're not the only one who has it. I also have one in my hands, Bone Emperor said as he flipped his hand. He immediately took out an ancient scroll that emitted a mysterious aura. Chapter 2899. Purpose. Looking at the ancient scroll taken out by Bone Emperor, Jian Wushuang's pupils constricted. He was very familiar with this ancient scroll because there were 2 such scrolls in his interspatial ring. Undoubtedly, what Bone Emperor took out was also a scroll of heaven-sealing painting. The third one. Jian Wushuang immediately became excited. This was normal. As Bone Emperor said, the more heaven-sealing painting scrolls there were, the more benefits he would get. During this time, his comprehension of sword principles and rules had improved so quickly. Besides his extraordinary talent, the most important thing was that he had the help of 2 heaven-sealing painting scrolls. These 2 heaven-sealing painting scrolls had helped him a lot. Both of them had helped him a lot. As for the third one, it was rumored that gathering 3 heaven-sealing painting scrolls at once was enough to obtain an extraordinary opportunity. Jian Wushuang was filled with anticipation and curiosity about this opportunity. Now, the 3rd heaven-sealing painting scroll appeared in front of him. Although he was pleasantly surprised, Jian Wushuang remained calm on the surface. I didn't expect Lord Bone Emperor to have a scroll of the heaven-sealing painting, Jian Wushuang said. Why? Are you interested in the scroll? Bone Emperor smiled and said, if you want it, I can give it to you. As you said, the more scrolls you have, the more benefits you will get. I've benefited a lot from the scroll over the years. Now that I have a chance to get the 2nd scroll, I can't miss it. But what are your conditions, Lord Bone Emperor? Jian Wushuang said. He knew that Bone Emperor would not give him the heaven-sealing map scroll for no reason. There must be a price to pay. He was just curious about what kind of request Bone Emperor would make. The Heaven Sealing Map Scroll is of no use to me. Since you need it, I can give it to you now. As for the conditions, I do have one, but it should be a piece of cake for you, Bone Emperor said. Tell me. Jian Wushuang looked at Bone Emperor. Jianyi, have you heard of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance? Bone Emperor asked directly. Jian Wushuang was shocked. Of course, he had heard of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. He had also heard of the existence of the Heaven Cleaving Union through Saint Crimson Rock. Saint Crimson Rock had given him a Heaven Cleaving token back then. Now, the Bone Emperor had mentioned the Heaven Cleaving Alliance to him. You should know about it. If I'm not mistaken, it must have been the Crimson Rock Saint who told you about it, right? Bone Emperor looked at Jian Wushuang. How do you know about it, Bone Emperor? Jian Wushuang frowned. Of course, I knew it long ago. Not only does Crimson Rock have a Heaven Sealing Map Scroll, but he also obtained a Heaven Cleaving token by chance. Because he came to me with this token, he wanted to give it to me in exchange for what he needed. Unfortunately, I didn't agree, Bone Emperor said. Why? Is it because Saint Crimson Rock's requirements are too high, or are you not interested in the Heaven Cleaving Alliance, Lord Bone Emperor? Jian Wushuang asked. The Heaven Cleaving Alliance was a giant. Although the conditions for joining were extremely harsh, it would definitely bring many benefits. In the Divine Beginning realm, many powerful experts yearned to join the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. However, Lord Bone Emperor was so powerful that if he could get a Heaven Cleaving token, he could definitely try to enter the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. After hearing Jian Wushuang's words, the Bone Emperor gave a mischievous smile. It's not that Saint Crimson Rock is too demanding, nor that I'm not interested in the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. It's because when Saint Crimson Rock gave me the Heaven Cleaving token, I was already an Earth-level member of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. What? Jian Wushuang was shocked, but then he understood. No wonder the Bone Emperor rejected Saint Crimson Rock. It turned out that he had been a member of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance for a long time. Since he had joined the Heaven Cleaving Alliance, why did he need the Heaven Cleaving token? The Heaven Cleaving Alliance is indeed an unfathomable force. Its strength is far beyond the imagination of ordinary experts. Even now, I only have a glimpse of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. But one thing is that after joining the Heaven Cleaving Alliance, I have indeed gained great benefits. Even if I can perfectly control the immortal body and impress the current level, it has something to do with the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. Bone Emperor sighed. Jian Wushuang narrowed his eyes. He yearned for the mysterious and powerful Heaven Cleaving Alliance. Jianyi, do you also have the Heaven Cleaving token? Bone Emperor asked. Yes, I do. Jian Wushuang did not deny it. The Bone Emperor smiled. Saint Crimson Rock should have told you about the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. You are very talented, and you have the Heaven Cleaving token. If you want to join the Heaven Cleaving Alliance, it should be easy. It should be difficult for you to pass the test. Maybe. Jian Wushuang nodded slightly. He had heard from Saint Crimson Rock that the minimum requirement of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance was Divine Master. Moreover, it was an invincible Divine Master who was extremely strong and had already reached the top. In other words, Invincible Divine Master was only qualified to accept the assessment, but whether he could pass the assessment and become a member of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance was still uncertain. However, with his strength, if he accepted the assessment as the Invincible Divine Master, he would have at least a 90% chance of making a breakthrough. After all, he could kill the immortal saint directly. If such a heaven-defying Divine Master could not pass the assessment, who else could? Jianyi, I want to know. Will you use the Heaven Cleaving token to participate in the assessment of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance in the future? Bone Emperor asked. Yes. Jian Wushuang nodded decisively. Then he looked at the Bone Emperor and asked, Lord Bone Emperor, is your condition related to the Heaven Cleaving Alliance? Yes. The Bone Emperor nodded with a smile on his face. My condition is actually very simple. When you accept the assessment, you must admit that you were recommended by me to the Heaven Cleaving Alliance. That simple? Jian Wushuang was stunned. Just admit that you were recommended by the Bone Emperor, and that was it? The Bone Emperor's condition was indeed a little too simple. Lord Bone Emperor, as a member of the Heaven Cleaving Alliance, Do you also receive rewards for introducing a new member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance?
Jian Wushuang asked.
Chapter 2900. Rewards. Of course, there are rewards. Moreover, there are quite a lot of rewards, the Bone Emperor explained with a smile. There are a total of 3 ways to obtain benefits in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. The first one is to carry out the different levels of missions issued by the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Most of these missions are richly rewarded. These rewards are far more than the rewards given by some of the employment organizations in the absolute beginning divine realm. Unfortunately, however, most of these missions are incomparably difficult. Moreover, the chances of failure or even death are extremely high. I have been an Earth-level member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance for a long time, but I have only accepted 3 Earth-level missions in the past few years. Each of these 3 Earth-level missions required me to go through life and death, and I was lucky enough to complete 2 of them. As for the 3rd mission, I didn't complete it at all, but I was lucky enough to save my life. However, because of the lingering fear, I haven't accepted any Earth-level missions until now. Hearing this, Jian Wushuang nodded secretly. To get a sufficient reward, he had to pay more. Since the rewards of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's missions were so great, the difficulty was naturally higher. The second way to get benefits depends on luck. The Bone Emperor smiled slightly. The Divine Beginning Realm is very big and vast, far beyond our imagination. As one of the most mysterious alliances in the Divine Beginning Realm, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance also has various conflicts of interests. Moreover, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance often encounters some unexpected incidents. Once there are unexpected incidents, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance can't mobilize other experts to rush over in a short time, so they can only send nearby Heaven-Cleaving Alliance members. In such an emergency, the members who are temporarily dispatched will receive more benefits than those who complete difficult tasks. If they are lucky, such an emergency can be easily solved without too much trouble. Many members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance know about this, so they hope that an emergency will occur in their territory and the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance will take the initiative to find them. There is a rumor in the outside world that the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance can gather at least 3 immortal saints in any territory or corner of the Divine Beginning world as long as the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance gives the order. It's true. Jian Wushuang was secretly amazed. The absolute beginning divine realm was vast and had countless territories. The Golden Crow 9 realms was probably just a drop in the ocean compared to the entire beginning divine realm. However, in so many territories, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance was able to take care of at least 3 immortal saints in the shortest time in any corner. This ability was probably unparalleled in the entire absolute beginning divine realm. However, the reason why the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance was able to make these immortal saints arrive at the fastest time was that they had paid a huge price. Other than these 2 channels, there is one last way to obtain benefits from the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. That is to introduce other experts to join the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. As long as this person passes the test of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and becomes a member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, the person who introduces him will receive a certain reward. This is the safest way. You don't have to take any risks. As long as you have a unique vision and the person who recommended you is really capable, it will be fine, the Bone Emperor said. This method is indeed weak, but if you only recommended one person to join the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, the reward should not be too much. How can it be worth a heaven-sealing painting scroll?
Jian Wushuang asked.
Ha, if it's just an ordinary genius, it's not worth it, but you are different. The Bone Emperor smiled. Jian, you may not know this, but there are different levels of members of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. First, there are the most common members. These ordinary members are almost made up of invincible divine masters who have passed the assessment, including some immortal saints who are of average strength. Second, there are Earth-rank members. Like me, I am an Earth-rank member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. In the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, Earth-rank members are very common, but they more or less have a certain level of strength. Above the Earth rank is the Heaven rank. Cultivators at this level almost all have an immortal body, and they have special methods. They are very powerful immortal saints. Even I am unable to reach this level now. After all, I have only completed 2 Earth-rank missions alone. Only after I have completed all 3 Earth-rank missions can I truly become a Heaven-rank member. Above the Heaven rank, There is the Emperor rank. The Emperor rank members are made up of a group of top experts. Most of them are top-notch immortal saints, and some of them are invincible among the immortal saints. It is said that there are even a few rule masters who are also Emperor rank members. At this level, they are also true experts in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance and can definitely command a side. However, whether it's the Earth, Heaven, or Emperor level, they are just the periphery of the Heaven-Cleaving Union. The Heaven-Cleaving Alliance has no restrictions on them. They are completely free regardless of their strength. However, it is rumored that there is a primitive level above the Emperor level, which is the true core level of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Any one of them has the strength and means to destroy the world, and because of the existence of a group of primitive experts, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance is so powerful in the divine beginning world. Jian Wushuang listened carefully. Although he had heard Saint Crimson Rock mention the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, he did not know much about it. As a member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance, the Bone Emperor knew more about it. Jian Wushuang did not know about the ordinary, Earth, Heaven, Emperor, and core primitive level. He did not know about it until Bone Emperor said so. Jian Yi, you are only a divine master now. If you use the Heaven-Cleaving token to participate in the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance's assessment, even if you pass the assessment, you will only be an ordinary member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. Such a reward is indeed not much. It is not worth exchanging a heaven-sealing scroll for. But what I value is your great potential. Bone Emperor looked at Jian Wushuang. In the Dragon Phoenix Sacred City, I saw the battle between you and the three Realm Masters. Your ability, your swordsmanship, and even your treasures far exceed that of a divine master. Such strength is more than enough for you to become an ordinary member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance. If you are lucky, you can become an Earth-level member of the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance at the Divine Master level. Once you become an Earth-rank member, the Heaven-Cleaving Alliance will reward me even more. In other words, the higher your rank is in the future, the more benefits I will get.